Hey, thanks for tuning in. Today I wanted to make a kind of a different video, just something I noticed online. Normally my YouTube videos, I don't make much very often, at least not anymore. But I kind of have kind of a long drive, 20, 25 minute drive. So I figured this would be a good time to make a video like this. Obviously, as you can see from the title, it's about flat Earth. This video is not to decide whether or not the Earth is flat, it's not flat, or whatever. It's got a dome, it's a ice wall, none of that. That's not really the point of this video. Now, myself personally, I guess I'm what you call a globe person, a globe enthusiast, or whatever they call that. So I don't believe the Earth is flat. I believe it's a globe and it's round and all the science and everything. But again, that's not the point. The point is, I just, I like to watch YouTube like everybody else. And I just happen to, when you go on the homepage, it gives you like suggestions, and then it kind of deviates from videos that you've watched in the past. And I'm like a huge science nerd. I love science, I love astronomy. I love just reading about things, black holes, the planets, the sun, all that stuff. I just love watching videos like that. And so when you go on YouTube, a lot of times it gives you suggestions. And one of I kept noticing, in the past, I don't know, month or so. It's been a while. I mean, I haven't made a video on it, but I see these videos like 101 reasons why the Earth isn't flat, or why the Earth is flat, 101 reasons, that globe people can't answer, or, stuff like that. And so I'm taken back by that. I'm like, I guess my point is, I don't understand, like, how, well, maybe that's not the right way to phrase it. I was going to say how someone can believe that, but that's not the right way to say it, because there's a lot of people that believe a lot of different things, religion, I mean, all that stuff. So not really to say how can someone believe that. I guess, I'm shocked that so many people do believe that. But again, there's a lot of weird things that people believe. I'm not saying these people are dumb by any means. I mean, they're just... So if you believe the Earth is flat, I don't think you're dumb. You just have a different opinion than I do. At the end of the day, I guess when I started looking into flat Earth stuff and like, wow, people still believe this. It's crazy. I can't believe that. I started, asking like why? Because a lot of people will say, it's, they're trying to keep it from you, and the government and the governments of the world, and they're hiding. So I guess whenever there's like a conspiracy theory, and I believe a lot of conspiracy theories. I'm not, I guess the very first question I ever asked myself is like, kind of like a murder investigation, like who benefits, right? Like what's the point? What's the point of the conspiracy? Is there a profit motive involved? I mean, is there, someone, stuff like that, like who benefits? And I guess when it comes to like flat Earth stuff, I guess I just don't see like what the point would be of lying to everyone. Like what do the governments of the world gain from doing that? And some people will say, oh, well, control, they get control, but again, control of what is it that they're controlling? Your belief? I mean, what real money, like, so let's take the wars and stuff as an example. And I apologize if you can hear the wind, but let's take the wars, for example, or a really popular conspiracy, the JFK. Well, there's a lot of people who benefit if the government, if JFK was assassinated, there was a lot of people that benefited from that. You know, wars could go on, Federal Reserve. I mean, again, not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm just saying when you look at the other side of it, you know, the who benefits. There's a lot of people could benefit from that. When it comes to the flat Earth, I guess, I mean, sure, you know, there's a lot of videos I see of people like, oh, well, you know, what about this? And we're on the spin and you can't feel it and all that. Again, I just want to know what's the point? Like, if the Earth, let's say the Earth is flat, okay, what difference does that make to anything? Like nothing changes from that. Your life continues as normal. Nothing will change. Like the conspiracy, let's say with the Iraq War and 9/11 and all that. Well, you know, the point of that, a lot of stuff changed. There's a lot of money to be spent. A lot of you know, businesses, companies make a ton of money from that war. The U.S. makes a lot of money from, you know, oil. I mean, like the whole. But again, with flat Earth, what's the payoff? Just mind control, like just the fact that they were able to fool you. You know, like if I don't, that's my problem with it. I don't care that you research it and, you know, you feel you're being lied to and all that, but like and this is one video, or this one quote. I hate to be one of those people that say this is one of those questions that's never answered. And maybe it has been. I have not watched every single video on YouTube, so I can't say that it for sure hasn't been. All I can say is I've never seen this question answered. Like, you know, what's the point? If it turned out, let's say if you're a person like me that believes that the Earth is round, or globe, or sphere, or whatever, and it turned out like tomorrow that the conspiracy was up, the truth is out, it's over, and the Earth actually is flat. It's flat, it has a dome, there's an ice wall, like everything you say about the flat Earth is 100% correct. What changes? What changes in your life that is not the same as it was yesterday, other than the fact that like your beliefs have now been, you know, codified, like you've been vindicated. Yes, you were right the whole time, but what really changes? I mean, like NASA, like they don't exist anymore if it turns out space isn't real and all this other stuff. Like, okay, so NASA goes away, it was all a fraud, but I'm just saying, like, how does your life get impacted? Like, what changes? If the Earth turned out to be flat tomorrow, I don't see any immediate impact in my life. I don't see what would be different, other than like I wouldn't tell people the Earth is round anymore. I guess that's the only thing I can think of. There could be some small stuff, you know, but other than like there's not going to be like a huge, you know, like a huge impact. Like if it turned out, let's just say, again, I'm not going down this road, I'm just saying, let's say for the sake of conversation that it turned out that the government did orchestrate 9/11, like the whole thing was a lie, they said it all, everything. Well, a lot of shit would change at that point. Like everything about the government was a lie, all these agencies would be lies, the war would be a lie, like everything would be a lie. Again, with flat Earth, like I don't see the point in the government hiding that. For one, I don't see how they could. I don't see how all the governments of the world, or at least the ones that have the technology to supposedly travel in space and all that, I don't see how they'd be able to keep it all secret for that long. Now, of course, not every single person. Like, it's not like when you know, I was in the military, so I mean, it's not like the day you sign, you know, your contract at the military, it's not like they divulge any secrets to you or anything like that. Like, okay, now that you're a member of the military, let us tell you really what happened on 9/11 and really what happened at Roswell, and let us tell you really what happened to JFK and all that. Now you're in the club. Yeah, I get it. It doesn't work that way. Not every employee, let's say who works for NASA and all that, like, not every employee, gets to know the stuff. So I get that totally. I mean, I understand that completely. So, and again, I'm speaking from a globe believer point of view. Like, because people would say that. Well, how is it possible that everyone would know? Everybody would keep it a secret. There's just too many people involved. Sure, no, I get the argument for that. Not everybody would know. Kind of like the recipe for Coca-Cola. When you first, get a job at Coca-Cola, they don't share the recipe with you. There's probably only like maybe half a dozen, maybe a dozen or more, a little bit, people that actually know the actual recipe, the formula for Coca-Cola. Not the warehouse guy, palleting stuff. He doesn't know. So I get that. But that's one company. I mean, you're talking, from the point of the space race back in the 60s, from the time they went to the moon, and yes, I know that's a whole other topic. You're talking what, 49 years, almost 50 years of the lie, like of all, like the Russians, the US, China's got stuff up there, satellites, like you're talking almost basically 50 years of fraud. Not to say 50 years of fraud can't happen, because that happens all the time. I'm saying 50 years of fraud with that many people involved. Like that would take some serious manpower to keep a secret like that for that long. Because humans, by nature, it's very tough for them to keep secrets. Very tough. You always feel like you want to tell somebody something. I mean, again, I'm not saying it's totally impossible. It's plausible that, I guess, I mean, they could keep it. It's just highly, highly unlikely. But again, it all boils down for me, whenever I look at a new conspiracy or a new, something that's pointing me in a different direction of logic and reason, maybe something that's been proposed, I always ask first, okay, all right, before I start just believing what I saw on a video or, believing something that's written in an article, if it has to do with like a conspiracy, government, whatever, it's always, okay, who benefits? Is there a point? Is someone just, doing it because they want attention, or they're just proposing something preposterous? Is there a legitimate point? Is there a legitimate reason why the other side of this argument would exist? Like, who benefits? Again, in a murder, sometimes a wife, kills the husband. Okay, what, the motive? Well, there's insurance money, sometimes he's cheating. Very rarely do people just randomly kill people, other than psychotics and stuff. Even serial killers, there's a motive. This person looked like this person, or there's a pattern involved or something. Very rarely do just random folks just get picked off. I mean, it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's way less common than stuff that has a motive. So again, with conspiracies and all that, what's the motive? With the moon landing, that's where not the moon landing, with the flat earth thing, that's where I lose it. Because I'll be honest, I mean, again, a long time ago, yeah, we're all taught in school, the earth is round, all this stuff, sure. But at some point, everybody, I'm sure, comes across somebody or an article or a video, or they hear in conversation, the earth is flat. Okay. So you start saying, is it possible? Sure, anything's possible. Is it probable? No. Why? Okay, what evidence is out there? There's a lot of stuff. What's the motive? What's the point? What would the government gain, or not even the government, what would this agency gain by the fake, fake globe? NASA? Okay. So their military, or their budget is what? Like a couple, 15 billion, whatever it is. That's, when you're talking about at least the US, when you talk about the U.S., that's like a tiny drop in the bucket. And their budget has been slowly decreasing pretty much every year since the moon landings, like in the 60s. So, I mean, it's not like the military who has like a just tremendously high budget every year. I mean, so, yeah, I mean, again, there's an argument you could say, sure, you know, NASA benefits. I mean, what are the makers of globes? They benefit, I guess, by making globes, you know, and they say, well, you're indoctrinating the children. Okay, again, let's assume for the sake of argument that flat Earth is true. Let's assume that. Again, what's the point? What would be the point of of teaching kids about the globe and like what? So, you know, 1 out of every 1,000 kids can be an astronaut? Like, I don't see the point. Like, if you're going to teach kids propaganda in school, usually the government does that, like how, oh, the government's so great and we need the government because, you know, they take care of it. Like, there's a lot of agencies and a ton of people that benefit from the government. But from a flat Earth and a globe, like, I just don't see like the who benefits part. I don't see the payoff other than like NASA and, you know, I mean, again, but when you're talking about NASA's budget, I mean, if NASA was like bringing in, you know, if like a 3/4 or a half of the entire U.S. budget, you know, was dedicated to NASA, okay, sure, a lot of money to be spent on that. But, I mean, you know, even 10 billion, whatever the billion is, it's, you know, it's just so minute compared to everything else. Yeah, $15 billion, that's a lot to like you and I, of course. But to the government that spends, you know, trillions of dollars a year, 15 billion, that's like nothing. So again, I'm not saying everybody's wrong and all that, but because all the videos I see are always about, you know, debunking this and this person debunking that. You know, oh, well, here's why we don't live on a globe because, you know, gravity doesn't make sense, or, you know, here's why we do live on a globe because gravity and the sphere and the eclipses and all. I get all that. Like, but you're never, you know, I've never had any luck. There's an old saying, and it goes something like, and I'm paraphrasing at best here, but there's an old saying that's just, you know, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So, you know, again, you know, just arguing with someone back and forth like, well, no, gravity doesn't work because of this. And then the guy comes back and says, oh, no, gravity does work because of this. Like, sure, you know, both people think they're correct. So you're never going to convince them, or I shouldn't say never. It's very, very difficult for someone to change their entire belief system, you know, arguing that way. Again, my biggest question is, you know, why? What's the point? What if you start looking at it from that point of view? Suddenly, again, at least for me, I can't speak for everyone, you know, because there's a lot of, you know, YouTubers out there, you know, that argue both sides of the coin. And I get both sides. I get it. You know, the globe people, like me, we think we have legitimacy and facts and science on our side. And, you know, in my opinion, we do. But at the same time, the flat earth people, they believe the same thing. They believe they have the facts and everything. So I get it. You know, I totally understand, you know, why you're going to keep believing what you believe. No issues. It's just when you sit back and think about it. Now, again, this is just me, but when everything is stacked next to each other, you know, all the stuff about the flat earth, all the stuff about the globe, when you stack it all next to each other, to me, the globe just has way more concrete reasoning and facts than the flat earth. Again, I'm not saying people who believe in the flat earth are like lunatics or any of that stuff. I'm just saying, for me, this is just for me. And then when you're talking about, well, I've been brainwashed, I'm propagandized, I'm this, I'm that. Okay, maybe I am, but again, it all traces back to, what's the point? My favorite is, religion. Religion is a huge conspiracy. Like, is God real? Is Jesus real? Is all that stuff real? So when we ask the question of, okay, well, if it's not real, or what's the point of the conspiracy, who benefits? Well, a lot of people benefit from the belief that there's a God. A lot of people. I mean, like, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars are spent. That is a huge racket. So, yes, in that one, that to me makes perfect sense as to why the need to keep religion going is out there. Absolutely. Again, flat earth, I don't see the point. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching this who are flat earth enthusiasts and, think I'm an idiot, which that's fine. I don't, you're entitled to believe. I believe in freedom wholeheartedly and absolutely. If researching the flat earth and making you believe that it makes you happy, hey, that's fine. No issues. I got no problems with that. But again, if we just ask the simple question of who benefits, suddenly that stuff kind of falls apart. Like, not really a whole lot of people benefit from it. So I mean, if you look at it that way, that, I don't know, maybe that's an easier way, but I would be curious, again, other than like NASA, the obvious benefactors of, phony science and, phony space and all that, other than the obvious ones like NASA and, Russian space stuff, like, other than those folks, if any, please let me know, maybe I'm wrong. Who benefits from all this? Other than, and again, I will reject the notion of control. That one, to me, that's a frivolous argument in this case. In this particular case, I don't see control, like mind control, as being legitimate, because I don't see anything to actually control. Believing someone, telling someone there's a flat earth and believe, making them believe that, I don't really see how much control that's gonna, like, you're not really gonna have a whole lot of power, because it doesn't change a whole lot, at least from what I know. So I won't accept control. But anything else, please share with me what, what you think is a legitimate reason for the government telling you flat earth. I'm very curious to hear this. I appreciate you watching. And again, I'm not saying you're dumb or whatever, no name calling, none of that. I really want to know what the reasoning is. What is the point? So thanks for watching. I look forward to your comments.